A Fox News alert and keeping our eye on the Persian Gulf, mounting tensions between the U.S. and Iran. That country's army chief issues a harsh new warning, reportedly telling the U.S. not to return its aircraft carrier to the Gulf. The U.S. Navy's Fifth Fleet says the USS John C. Stennis is in the area. All this comes, of course, after the Iranian Navy test-fired a new cruise missile and two more shorter-range missiles on Monday near the Strait of Hormuz. That is the strategic gateway for about 1/6 of the world's oil supply. It gets shipped through there each and every day. Leland Vittert is live in Jerusalem. So, Leland, we are just getting a U.S. response to this threat. Tell us what that's all about.
Exactly. Coming from the Pentagon, John, essentially saying the U.S. Navy will send its ships or its aircraft carriers through the Straits of Hormuz when it wants, as much as it wants, for whatever reason it wants, and continue to do that despite the threat from the Iranian Navy. In fact, the Iranian naval chief was full of bravado. He said, "We are not in the business of warning the Americans more than once." And the past 10 days, the Iranians have been making a lot of threats about closing the Straits of Hormuz, which would obviously change the whole dynamic of the oil situation, the economic situation in the world. And they've made that threat based on whether the United States is going to continue to pursue harsher economic sanctions along with the rest of the world to try and end the Iranian nuclear program. The Iranian Navy had a lot of drills out in the Straits of Hormuz. They had a lot of boats out there and put out some pretty scary videos. But the videos didn't show the kind of military hardware that experts say is needed in order to follow through on this threat to close the straits and actually make a difference there, though they did launch an anti-ship missile, a surface-to-surface missile, which has a range of about 75 miles, which is more than enough to cross the Straits of Hormuz there from Iran down to Oman, which at some points is only about 20 or 21 miles. U.S. aircraft carriers have been operating in the Persian Gulf for decades now. In fact, there's a little bit of history to those very, very large ships, which are formidable weapons, protecting oil tankers heading through the Straits of the Hormuz. Back during the Iran-Iraq War, the U.S. escorted those ships under a Kuwaiti flag in order to keep the flow of oil going. There was at least one battle at sea between the Iranians and the United States after a U.S. ship hit an Iranian mine. And after that battle, it was pretty clear that the Iranians came out on the losing end. So if history repeats itself, it's very clear that the U.S. Navy thinks the Straits of Hormuz is something worth fighting for. John?
Yeah, it doesn't sound like the Fifth Fleet is exactly shaking in its shoes.
Well said.
All right, Leland Vittert reporting live. Leland, thank you.
Interesting.